to the Awesome Podcast with Chris and Steph. And we left you off. Chris is getting ready to go to the UK Championships of Ballroom Dancing. I said it wrong, but he'll say it a million times before we're done, so you'll get it right.
For sure.
And he was on scene. He's going to tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly, and kind of let us know what happens when these big events go on and how they can be great and how you get in the weeds and certain things can happen. Stephanie's going to chime in with her charm, as we'll call it today, because she said I'm already on her. So I'm going to be nice to Stephanie today. Okay. Stephanie, how are you doing?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. Staying warm in the East Coast over here with this blizzard that hit us.
Oh,
So,
crap. I'm all the way down in North Carolina and it blizzarded us too, which was very annoying for it to be 8 degrees in North Carolina. But there's nothing wrong with the climate, right? Anywho,
that's
so
true.
Chris, tell us about first, let's start with the getting there part because that's no easy task, right?
Getting to England?
Yeah, getting everything preparations, last minute changes.
I want to know that too. I was thinking of what it would be like at the airport with Chris and all his dresses traveling with them.
Well, I think maybe Keone was sort of asking. I mean, I can get to that too, but like I think he was maybe asking about the prep, like beforehand. It's, there's. I probably took about I think 16 new dresses and about 35 new pieces of menswear. So getting all of that designed and made and fit and everything that where we love before and it's right after Christmas and New Year's, so that's always the challenge
Jeez.
to try to do all that, and it's but we've been doing it a long time, so that is the challenge. And then of course so many of the top dancers that we work with don't live in this part of the hemisphere, so some people fly in for fittings, and then other people I've got to meet them in Bournemouth, so that's why we get there a little bit early so that we want the cause of stress is when there's like 2 days left to go and everybody's just arriving at the same time, and you've got to do fittings on all those people.
So two questions. One is, in the modeling world, we'll use stand-ins. You guys don't have stand-ins?
No,
Oh, I mean that would be great.
we have mannequins.
Oh, I can't. So no one's ever thought of using
Oh my
stand-ins, or it's just
goodness. I
it's
can't
not
even
feasible.
imagine a stand-in.
Yeah,
Well,
somebody's
because
got the exact same measurements as,
Stephanie, you could imagine it. That's what models do. They take they cast people with the same exact measurements and figure as the person that they need to make a dress for, or they're
But
making
if
a dress
you
for Meryl Streep. They don't fly her across the country to go to the Oscars 20 times. They just get the stand-in to go in.
well, if they're making a dress for Meryl Streep, I guarantee you she has fittings in person.
yeah.
No,
Also,
no, they've shown it. They've actually shown it. Of course she can do fittings in person, but I'm just saying. I just thought maybe that would be a thing that somebody
So
used.
with somebody like a dress for the Oscars, so
Uh-huh.
they would first of all these big celebrities, they have many backups. So they have
Yeah.
like their ideal plan, blah 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 like that. But they will definitely have fittings. I promise you.
Oh,
I've
no, no,
seen
no.
good
I'm not saying
fittings.
they don't have a fitting at
So
all. It's just I've seen
Chris
stand-ins
doesn't
used
need to have
in the
that many
beginning.
fittings as these people that are making dresses for the Oscars. Just saying, if you are casting and you need a new dressmaker for the Oscars, call Jordy.
That was just a quick guess.
infomercial.
And then the other ones were
They have better
when you
dresses.
talk about doing a big event like this after holidays, I guess one of the big hangups can be how long things might take to be delivered that you're ordering to have come in and go out, right?
Yeah, I mean we're not. So if you recall, we talked before about
Mhm.
the different parts of the dance world. So
Yeah.
this competition that just happened would be what we'd call the serious dance world. So these group of dancers, it's the same 4, 5, 6 times a year. They're all convening together, and you get there, and there's hundreds and hundreds of couples from all around the world competing in the different divisions and categories. So we even though we know who's going to be wanting costumes, you know, there's no way, for example, when let's say the World Championships was at the end of October last year, which was the last major of 25. There's no way any of the top couples at that comp would know really what they're wanting to be wearing in January at that time. So even though
Hmm.
we blocked out a time to make the costumes, you can't make them because it's not designed yet. And as it gets
Right.
closer and everybody feels what they're looking for, and then we start designing, and then sending ideas over, and it has to. There's got to be a frantic, kinetic energy that's happening that creates these designs, and we're just used to it at this point. But then we get to Bournemouth. Well, very quickly to answer your question, Stephanie, at the airport, it's very simple. I fly a lot, so I've got good status with United. I drag my wife with me. She also has good status. So we have 6 suitcases, 70 pounds each. I bring my sewing machine in one of them, and we take up like a suite in the hotel, and we set up a design studio there, and then we start making appointments for everybody to come in, and I go out and I buy garment racks, so we've got things to hang in the room, and it's like a mini Geordie in the hotel. But so the first day we get there, we're just setting up. We're setting up and having everything ready. But then you can guarantee, and it happened this year, so we got to get into what happened. But so
Mhm.
this year, you can guarantee that there's going to be at least one costume for one of the top dancers that, even though there's nothing wrong with the dress and it fits perfect and it's exactly how it was drawn up, maybe they're just not feeling it for one reason or another on that one dress. And
Diva.
no,
No.
no, 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 no. Not at all. Actually,
I don't even know who you're talking about. So
I feel like Chris is the perfect person to deal with someone who is a diva. Because
he is.
we've seen the Bridezilla reality
No,
shows.
he
Some
is.
people will crumble. Chris does not look like a crumbler.
no,
He
no.
doesn't.
Not
He
crumble.
is. He is what I want to be when I grow up in handling divas. Seriously, he's not going to say who's a diva on here. Okay, I already know that, but it's
None
okay.
of my top pros are divas.
What?
None of the ones I work with currently. They're not divas at all. If they were, I wouldn't be working with them.
Yeah,
Chris,
that's
and
true.
everybody, the most important thing that Chris has said in that entire thing from me is being one of those people who act like they flew before. I get so annoyed with people who fly frequently and they always act like it's their first time, especially if they're a person that always carries equipment. I'm like, you already know what you got to do. Like how you said, you have every suitcase is to the correct poundage. You're not out there switching a bunch of
No,
stuff
we're
around,
not
blowing
repacking at the
everybody up.
airport.
I love the
Oh
repackers. Oh,
God, like come on, it's not your first time.
No,
and they're like so surprised that they have those things that you have to
Yeah,
actually
it's like
make
the
sure
point is to make the air traveling is already stressful enough. Why are you adding stress?
yeah.
I
But
just
anyway,
I get on the plane and I want to sleep. Period.
right, that's
I'm the
me.
easiest person for a flight attendant to take care of because I'm just like, just quickly feed me and give me a couple of glasses of wine and I'm out. That's
And
it.
you're knocked out.
That's it.
Love it. Love it. So you get there, you guys open up you get a suite, you
Well,
pretty much
yeah.
set
So,
up
so
shop.
this comp's in Bournemouth, which is on the south
Uh-huh.
coast of England. So you got
Okay.
to fly to London, rent a car, and we actually, for the first time in 33 years going back there, I flew during the day this time, which is unusual. So we're arriving at night. Normally we'd fly during the night. Arrived at night, rent a car, drive down to Bournemouth, about almost 2 hours to get down to Bournemouth. Check in the hotel. The next day we're getting up and we are getting groceries, getting all the knickknacks that we need, the garment racks, and make sure the lighting is good. I've got my headlights that I wear when I'm working and everything because the lighting in England's not great. And then I think we already met with Doran and Marina, the world professional champions, Sunday night. So that was good. They came down early to do the fitting, and that was the main fitting because they had not had any fittings on these costumes, and it was 3 dresses and probably 10 pieces of menswear for Doran. So the fitting alone takes 2-3 hours just to fit and note and pin everything, and then it's all the work. And that was one of the dresses didn't she wasn't loving it. So we long story short, in order to fix that one dress, I had to remake it while I was over there, and I had to on Monday morning. I start calling around to see if there was anybody in Bournemouth had a mannequin that I could borrow. So like if there was any bridal shops or something. I found these lovely people um, who let me borrow it for free, a mannequin. So I brought that to the room. So now I got a dress for them. And basically, I cut that dress to pieces. All I kept was the skirt and made a complete new top on the dress, in addition to all the other fittings that we had on everywhere else. And that was the start. So the first night I went to bed 4:30, second night 5:15, third night 2:30. It was like 3, 4 nights of just no sleep, and the room was destroyed by the time the comp came. But I'll show you a little video of how she looked, and I really want to get into the comp,
Yes.
like
So
need to purge what I'm feeling.
right.
Ultimately, what I was really, really, really happy with all the dresses and all the suits, and so were the dancers, and so was everybody, because that's what we do. We deliver the goods. We've been doing it for many, many years, and actually, the dress that I remade from scratch ended up being the dress that she chose to wear in the final. So I couldn't be. I mean, that made it all worthwhile, you know. And they look
Okay.
fantastic. So
Mhm.
I can talk about. So basically, you can see as she comes down the stairs, that first impression is, exactly what we were going for. She's such a gorgeous lady, and he is so handsome. He always looks really good when we do him in like very sophisticated outfits. And they're dancing in their honor dance, well, not honor dance, in their dance on. I thought was amazing. And the second that they did it, I went, "Oh, I'm happy she picked this dress for the
Mm.
final because she just was very light and fast and zippy, and it was great." But but they did not win. So this is, and we're going to get into this. When you do competitions in anything, there's always a chance you're not going to win, right? I mean,
Right.
that's why it's a competition.
Right. Everybody doesn't get a trophy, even though we tried that a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't work, and not everybody deserves a trophy.
Correct.
That's right.
But I grew up playing every sport imaginable in addition to dancing. So, I understand sports and competing. Now, they were told to not compete prior to this comp. So, what by people close to them. So that was interesting. Why would that be the case? Because the panel apparently was so lopsided
Yeah.
towards this other organization. So that's again, this is all just things I've heard,
Yes.
right?
The sad part of the ballroom world, and the reason why it's not in the Olympics. But anyway,
Well, there's the honestly, that's the sad news about any competition that uses judges,
Right.
whether it's boxing, whether it's dancing, whether it's martial arts. People can be influenced. People are, even though they try to be impartial, people are people. And so if everyone's not on the up and up, things can happen.
So I want to be clear though, like this is not about Nino and Andrea who won
Yeah.
at all. Like it not in any way. Happy for them. Congratulations. It's good sometimes for the audience, for the sport, for other people to win things. And it's not like they're terrible dancers; they're fantastic dancers.
yeah,
So you
absolutely,
know, of-
very true.
I'm rooting for Doran and Marina because I love them, and I personally think they're better. But it's not like it
Mhm.
was so outrageous for
Yeah,
them to get beat by this other couple.
Yeah.
It's just that first of all, there's a few things happened throughout the comp. Um, like I said, they were told beforehand, don't dance. What does that tell you? Right. But
Yeah.
then they said, screw that. We're
yeah,
competitors. We're not afraid of competing. Otherwise, and they did absolutely the smart thing to dance.
yeah.
Now, there was a group of fans for the couple who ended up winning for Nino and Andrea from Italy who were up. They were like at a soccer match, and they were not only chanting and screaming for Nino and Andrea, but hurling Italian insults to Doran while Doran was dancing. Like it was so hostile. It's not supposed to be what the
Well,
dance.
that's not okay.
No, the dance world is not supposed to be
That is not okay.
right.
Okay.
So they were literally insulting him as he was dancing around the floor and like hurling abuse at him. So that was that. Then the
At
judges,
at no point did any judge grab a mic and say stop this or nothing?
Oh, well, here's the thing, Keone. Like, they've got no problem at all. And again, I'm not picking at this competition
I'm gonna
because
pick at it.
no, no,
Okay. No,
No,
that's
no, no,
not
no, no.
cool.
no, no, no,
I
no.
don't like that. I don't like bad sportsmanship.
I
So
know, but we weren't there, so
It's nothing to do with the
no.
organizers
It
of
could
this
still
competition because it's something that it could have been any competition.
right.
exactly.
But the MC, who's a good friend of mine, Colin James, if
Mhm.
if they catch people videoing, they got no problem at all stopping and say sorry, sorry. I mean, Marcus Hilton used to call people out in ballroom, point to them and said, "Put your phone down, otherwise you're going to be asked to leave."
Yep.
No private videoing.
Yep.
So they got no problem stopping that, but this they let go on.
Mhm.
So that I've got a problem with. And then worse than that, so you've got all their fans all over social media, and it's fine, saying, this is it, finally, without politics, which is really funny because,
The irony.
give me a break. But anyway, I understand. They're happy that their people won. Great.
Mhm.
But they won by one mark. So Doran and Marina won two dances. Nino Nanda won two dances. Now it's the fifth dance. So what happens is if one couple has more firsts than the other one, right, they're going to win. But actually, they had the same number of firsts, and it went to second places.
Yeah.
That's a decision called Rule 10. Now, it doesn't matter. It's no sour grapes. Again, congratulations to the couple that won. But call it for what it is. They
Yeah.
won by one mark on Rule 10. It was a really close, well fought competition. And
That's
speaking on
awesome.
behalf of Doran and Marina, we're all very excited for Blackpool because bring it. Let's do it. This is what competition's all about.
Yeah.
I was always taught, hey, you give your best. You compete like it's as they said, it's not a question of life or death. It's much more important than that. So you compete like that. The second it's over, win or lose. If you win, you're very humble in winning, and if you lose, you're gracious in defeat. You tip your hat. You say, "You got me this time. I'll get you next time. Well done." And that's where we're at. But you've got two judges, Sergei Surkov and Eugene Katzevman, marking Doran and Marina fifth and sixth, like in every dance. Now, these are the five times undefeated world Latin champions, the defending champions of this competition. What is that about? How is there no accountability for that? How are these people not made to
They
explain
should do it like skating where they drop don't they drop the
the
highest
highest? It's
score
called
and the
the
lowest?
No, they don't. And
I
you
know
know,
they don't, but they
no, but
should.
why? Why
And
should you
that's
have
why
to?
bowling is not recognized like other sports. That is exactly why. And I know that
Well,
at the same time you're
every
criticizing it, you defend it, but that is why it needs to change.
every sport doesn't do that though. Drop the highest and the lowest. If
Called the skating system.
I can see Chris's point. Let's play devil's
I was just
advocate.
comparing it
If
to like
you
ice dancing.
No, no, no. I'm just saying. Let's play devil's advocate. I know Chris's point. Let's say I truly, honestly thought you were a five. Okay,
No,
but
there's no
sometimes you
possible
look
way.
at it. It's like me and Chris was talking about sports, and you look at college football rankings, and every person votes this team one or two, and then you have this one columnist that votes them a seven. It's
Right.
like, what is he seeing that no one else is seeing?
So explain it,
Yeah.
right? Explain it.
That
So
would be nice.
either the other 13 judges didn't know what the hell they were talking about,
Hmm.
or these two judges didn't know what they were talking about, or there was another agenda. That's the only things. You can't, we all held to these, like you're all judging, looking for the same sort of things. Now, I realize dancing's a little bit subjective, but it's not totally subjective. You can't just have my mother out there judging, right?
Right.
She's just picking, he's wearing a Geordie patch. Let's mark him, Like,
Well,
First
when you're
place,
saying
everybody with a Geordie patch.
subjective, if every judge is going one and two, and maybe you said three, or
right,
worst case scenario,
Different.
fair
four,
enough.
we can get it. But when you drop from one to two to five and
And
six,
six
that's
in every
That means
dance. Six in
either.
every dance. So they marking their couple up and you just down and out the way.
Yeah.
And this is just accepted. This is disgusting. And
Yeah.
I would be saying the same thing if Dawn and Marina won. It would be just as bad. It
If
is not
somebody did
sour
that.
grapes.
Yeah.
I think personally, them losing this competition might be the best thing that ever happened to them.
Mhm.
because, as they say, you learn nothing from your successes, you only learn from failures and defeats. And I think they're already, I love where their mind's at. They showed such character by dancing under adverse conditions, and such amazing character after the fact. I'm just so proud of them. I really am. um,
This doesn't look good for the competition because people who are usually the top of their sport, like you're saying these two are, when you lose by a fraction or a point and you feel like there's something behind it, the next time that these great people come out, they usually destroy the
right,
competition. There's no doubt.
because there's a reason why they've become great. They became great because they can deal with adversity. They can deal with this is just a speed bump. This,
Yeah.
it's not this big dethroning. This is a speed bump. This is motivation. Who is it? Jim Carrey. One of his lines was, this is just exactly the motivation that I needed," or something like this. One
There
of
you
his.
go.
And
So now, interestingly enough, remember we were talking about trolls, Badger.
uh-huh.
I was just gonna ask you because I heard that they placed fourth or fifth. I'll just say fourth, fifth. Was that
And,
should they have been fifth?
oh, they shouldn't have been in the final, in my opinion. I'm just a dress
Oh
designer.
no, I mean that's what the word on the street
They
was.
were actually last into the final,
Yeah,
and
that's the word I
Salvo and Sasha were next in. So, but that was to me much bigger news than Nino Nanda winning. Like, it was like, this is a guy who last time he danced, he was winning everything, and there's been a lot of stuff talking. And he did a very major social media campaign building up to this competition. The morning of it, he's another post. Well, this is it. This is, and so it begins. And it's like one of these ones where we're seeing every time he has breakfast and everything like that. And like, we're gonna, okay, well, this is a big deal. And then they got out there, and it was he's a great dancer, of course, but they're not dancing against chumps. They're dancing against other great dancers, and I think it became apparent. And he was one mark, also Rule 10, I think it was one mark, almost he was sixth.
Why would you say that the placement on the lower, like the lower, like the fifth and the sixth, and the trolls, and maybe the other sixth place? What is the difference between their dancing for our viewers that aren't familiar with the little intricacies of ballroom dance? What's the difference between them and the first and second place? Was
So
the
if you look at the certainly Dawn and Marina, and I think that this is one of the reasons why for me, I would always mark them to win, and they've won. I mean, five times undefeated world champion, multiple times Blackpool current reigning Blackpool Latin British Open, um, European champions, international champions. The list goes on, right? When you look at them dance, it is there's no wobbles. It's not violent at all. It's very delicate. It's smooth. Michael and Joanna, and of course Ricardo and Yulia used to be the same way.
Yeah,
Very, very, like, if you really just take the faces out of it and even the choreography and look at what's going on with their feet and their hands, there's no shaking. There's no violence at all. Now, for me,
it's like calmer.
yes. So
It's
Nino and Andra, they're a sexy couple. But I think, Nino tends to dance a little bit like he's in a box. It's very quiet, and they're going for a different type of look. I personally feel, as it's just my opinion, allowed to have it, but in my opinion, they don't have quite the consistent quality throughout that Doran and Marina had. Now, Trolls and Ina, when he danced with Ina, I thought they had it. That the literally every moment of every dance of five dances, seamless, effortless perfection. That's what Doran and Marina have.
mm,
They're, Ricardo and Yulia had that, tenfold, right?
yeah.
So I think Doran and Marina are really in a category of their own, with the current dancers out there on the floor, in that sort of division, like, because they're so wonderfully precise, and even their choreography is very, very complex. It's different from what everybody else is doing.
All right, so I am so ready to see some of these
Me
dresses, and
too.
some of my friends who are designers, because I told them I was doing this, are so ready to see some of these outfits that you put together, dresses and suits that you put together as
Yep.
well.
Cool. So, well, let's start with Stassa Marketa. So
Okay.
Stassa Marketa, they're a couple that came to me a few years ago, and they just got all their visas and paperwork approved. They now moved to the United States, so they live and work in Massachusetts, but he's from Moldova, and I believe Marketa's from Poland, and her costume, both of them were inspired by two Alexander McQueen dresses that I had
Ah,
seen when I was in London for the international, and I took some photos, and it was sort of inspired by that. So we take what I like to do is take elements of something I really like and try to forget about it, just remember the elements and try to forget the thing. So then when I'm drawing, it's not copying anything. It's just how I pictured it. You know what I mean? And I'm adding that to it.
yeah.
So her dress actually really came across really great on the floor. Um, she only wore one of the two because there was not the opportunity to change, but it was a combination of all different size mirrors and crystal AB on the necklace and around the bottom of it. And Marquette is a little taller than most of the girls out there, and she's not your classic Latin dancer look. There's a really specific look that works for Marquetta, this kind of Prussian princess, and that's what we're going for. And I really, some of my most favorite dresses that I've designed and made have been from Marquetta. Her and I work very good together.
What
Wow.
was the
So
most
beautiful.
difficult part? Was there any difficult? What's the most difficult part of designing this dress?
For Marquetta, that one,
Yeah.
um,
Got all those mirrors.
honestly, yeah, because we have the materials that we can get, and then you got to create this semi-abstract but semi-structured necklace type look,
Yeah.
and, and then you got to know when to stop. Liz, our head decorator, she's been with me for years. We work very well together. So I I went home and Saturday night laid everything out on the coffee table, and while we're watching movies and stuff, I'm playing around with them, and I've got sketches. So I'm sort of doing some things. I'm sketching them out. So there's lots and lots and lots of like a storyboard, the whole thing. And then I come in on Monday and I'm like, okay, this is what I got. Start with this, and then see me after each stage, and what else does it need? What else does it need? And then knowing when to stop. But I think it came out great. I'm really happy with that one.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
And this next one that is coming up right here, what is this lovely thing?
Wow.
So, so this would
Love
be
it.
Yuri and Olga.
Can I borrow that one?
Actually, you can. Yeah, this one's sponsored. I own it, so it's so they live in Hong Kong. Lovely young couple. They actually direct competitors with Stas and Marquetta. They sort of go like this with each other. They're at a similar level. And I'm a big fan of theirs also. Lovely people. And you can see really beautiful people, both blonde, very specific look. Yuri's quite a character, likes to wear things a little different. So his shirt, he wanted something that was very loose and showed great movement. And she wanted a dress that showed constant movement everywhere throughout the body and everything. So
Love that. I love
and
that.
so we really blinged out his shirt a lot, like
Mm.
lots of different pearls and beads. And when you're doing pearls and beads, the challenge with that is you've got to stitch them all on because they're actually balls. You can't just glue them. And if
Yeah.
it comes off, people are going to set their neck. So you really got to make sure that you have them on properly. Um, and her dress was a classic. Like we borrowed the cut of something I did for Yulia a few years ago, but it really works for her. She's very lean, so this gave her a lot of volume, and it gave them both a very expensive and glamorous and fabulous look, and great motion.
Sure.
She was constantly in motion all the time, so really happy with this.
Very cool. Wow.
How did you come up with the colors?
Yeah. I
Well,
was just thinking
again,
that.
so you're always trying to do. You can't. Nobody's inventing new colors, right? So
Right.
it's what you do with them. And I guess that was like Ed Sheeran's thing, right? When he went to court and played about like 20 of the most famous songs with something like five chords.
Yeah.
His point was you can't copyright a chord. It's what you do with it that makes it unique. And it's the same thing with design and colors and stones. when you would see something in it, you would see one thing and you go, oh, maybe when I see something, my mind goes in another way, and I'm like, oh, I remember that thing from, and I'm putting it together. So, for instance, the dress we did for Marina for the international, for the final, black and all of these different colors of golds. It was like earth tones. It wasn't just gold, it was coppers, it was brass, it was all of these colors with the black. So I remembered that I like that. I know what this floor is like, what works good on the floor. You Olga wanted to add a little bit of blue in with the gold, and there you go. That's where the color comes from.
So much detailing. It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot, a lot. Everybody thinks they're a dress designer.
And secondly, it's talking about how hard it is. I mean, just designing in general. I know people who can sketch, but they can't sew and cut worth a
Yes,
damn.
yes, yes,
And I
yes.
know people who are great at sewing and being a
Mhm.
seamster and seamstress and putting an outfit together, but they can't sketch. And they have someone else do the sketching for them, and then they
Right,
make the item. You do all of it. That's
correct.
incredibly hard. People don't understand that.
It's an unusual set of skills.
If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
And honestly, I give thanks to God every morning, literally every morning, because I did nothing to acquire those skills. I've done things to develop them and better them, but it's like people who are Brad Pitt, you know what I mean? Like he was born gorgeous. He should give thanks every day for being born looking like Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
So we gotta know what to give thanks for, and I realize that it's an unusual um and also the fact that I danced and that I can draw, I can sew, I can make patterns. I like math, so I can actually cut patterns for the clothing. So
Mhm.
it's an unusual thing, and for me, yes, there are lots of people who everybody thinks they've got taste, right? Now the truth is everybody does have taste. Not all of it is good, but so but a lot of times people have money and they go to stores and they just buy, everything from Chanel, like everything from Dolce Gabbana, and they look at me, I've got taste. No, no, you got money.
Yeah.
And
That
can you
doesn't
make yourself
Not
look
everything will look good on you just because you got it at a high-end designer.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But
listen,
even talking about those designers, like they
mhm.
don't those original designers, they do one of all of those things.
right,
They don't go from soup to nuts like you do.
right?
Prime example, you see sometimes people look like $1,000,000 and they got every single thing from a thrift store,
Yep.
That's true.
you
Those
know?
people, those people have taste and style. This Tal and Alana, these are also very dear friends of ours and very, very successful dancers. This was a tough competition for them because in the let's say the level where they are, it was really, really congested. But again, Ilana's not your like kind of like Marquetta, but in for different reasons. Ilana's not your typical, let's say, like Latin dancer figure. So certain things really look good on her, and she's got real solid ideas of things she likes. So we went to something very colorful. She had sent um, an inspiration of something she'd seen on Instagram of something like these flowers. So it's a really specific dress, but I think like it's one of those dresses that would only work on Ilana. And I was really happy with how it came across. And she really, boy, she puts herself together so well on the dance floor. She looks like a combination of like Nancy Kerrigan and Katerina. What was it? The Russian ice dance. I can't think. Katarina Witt, like a combination of that. So she looks really great. And then Tal, he's very sweet. He loves this outfit. It's his favorite outfit. It's difficult to get him in other new things. He says this is his favorite thing that he's ever worn, and I have to say he's such a good looking guy, and he does look good in this outfit with the vest. With it's open, it's movement. You got flashes of white inside. So pretty happy with how this came out.
I want you to go over this. The most difficult one that was for you to make this go around,
Well,
and why?
no, if you don't
Probably
mind,
wasn't one that he put
let's
Oh,
together in the
you can correct me. You know,
I've
you
got,
got the
I've got
range.
one more before that.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
So let's look at Salvo and Sasha. Now, Salvo and Sasha, they are dear, dear, dear friends of my wife and myself. They just stayed at our house, and we don't really have anybody staying at our house. They just stayed at our house recently, They are the I think 3 times undefeated world amateur champions. They just turned pro a year ago, and they are already seventh into the final. Like they were clearly next couple into this final. They're 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 already just making such moves in the dance world in the pros, and I really they really allow me to do my thing. So actually, her dresses were the dress that you see that she's wearing in the earlier rounds. That actually was started life out as a totally different design. It was the third design when we did the fitting here in Jersey. We weren't feeling it, so we sort of, which is unusual for my dresses with Sasha. We sort of shredded it and did it on her and created something a bit more organic. So
I love
but
that.
she's the kind of girl that looks amazing in everything. She really is beautiful inside and out. Salvo, he's so
Oh,
handsome. He's Sicilian. He's like, but he's actually very little compared to all the guys out there.
mm,
He's a little bit taller than me, I think. Very very slight. We're talking like 27-inch waist. You know, you remember those days, Keone? 27-inch waist. I vaguely do. I think I was probably 17 myself. But anyway, so we're trying to take advantage of his manliness and his masculinity, but at the same time give him a bit of volume without losing his waist. And I really think their costumes were spot on. The one she changed into for the evening time, the black with the crystal AB, it was a perfect dress for Sasha. She
gorgeous.
elegance and just beautiful. Now the most difficult dresses were Marina's, not just because she's the defending champion, not just because she's the world professional champion, but because we're trying to use fabrics. This is the point. Unless you're in the conversations, is what we're actually attempting to do over the months and the years. You can have an opinion, but it's not really an educated opinion on what we've done because you weren't in there. You don't know whether we nailed it or not because you don't know what we're actually going for. So all of her fabrics are not dense fabrics.
Mm,
She wanted something that was very vintage,
love
20s,
it. I
you
love
know,
that.
Gatsby esque,
Yeah,
roaring
but
20s.
they're not as flexible, right? And a lot of
Not
those
at all.
fabrics don't
Yeah,
stretch.
they're on tulle, which barely stretches. It's very
Yeah,
delicate, but
yeah.
it's a very, very vintage and
I
feminine kind of
love that.
feel to
That's
it.
my favorite.
So it's a challenge but also, for instance, some recently people have been saying, "Oh, we're not seeing enough of Marina's body, not seeing enough of Marina's body from the peanut gallery." It's because we her in more like dresses. So we wanted to show that she's in perfect, perfect physical shape. So we showed the curves and the sexiness of her, but at the same time, making a dress that's very 20. So you can see she wore 3 dresses. The first one is this beautiful royal blue with the navy velvet ribbons, something very elegant, understated, sexy, beautiful back. You can see the back of it is gorgeous.
Love it. Oh my goodness.
She wore that for the early rounds, changed into a beautiful, beautiful vintage um, pearl, kind of lemon ivory colored pearl dress, all on tulle. That we had to rouge this and make it fit her body just nice, and
Oh my
still
goodness.
make it that she could
I
dance.
think these are my favorite.
And then the final dress, the one that we remade from scratch, um, that
Wow.
she just looked. How can anybody look better? She just looked amazing.
Yeah.
I don't take credit for her looking fantastic. God did that, but my job is to listen to what Marina says and to put into fruition what she wants, and then add a little bit of suggestions and ideas along the way. And I think both her and Doran, they looked exactly how they wanted to look, and I was really happy with it.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. I have to think about which one is my favorite.
So we're already back and thinking and plotting and planning towards Blackpool, which is only going to be 3 months away.
Wow.
We'll be going over there midway through May, and let the games begin. Anytime you get to a competition and a particular dress makes you drive around Bournemouth looking for a mannequin, you know, and then you're digging in your bag of what other fabric you brought with you to make it work, and
So So this is the original dress that's up right now. Why didn't this work?
Well, it actually, she put it on, and it was funny. Bambi, my wife, was joking because we'd done the other two dresses first. This was the final fitting, Sunday night. She put it on. My wife went downstairs to get coffee or something like that. By the time she came back, there was no white on the dress at all. We'd cut it all off. She wasn't feeling it. She wasn't feeling it. And it doesn't matter what I say, if she's not feeling it, it doesn't matter how good I feel about her in the dress. If she's not feeling amazing in the dress, well, it's got to be changed, you know?
Wow, I love that. That's a very humble way to look at it for yourself because you made it. So
Yeah, but this is not the Chris show, right? So this is not like, and we're not trying to be the best dressed losers. We're trying to win dance competitions. So, for me, always number one is whether it's the world champion or whether it's yourself, Stephanie, or whether it's a pro am lady, Carol, or what. It doesn't matter who it is.
yeah,
That person is number one. Number two is helping them with their dancing. And number three, if there's space, to be a little clever with it.
yeah.
But if I get number one and two right, you don't even need to be that clever most of the time. You just, because if you, especially with a woman, if you can make a woman feel amazing in the clothes, normally she'll just radiate awesomeness.
It's the same way when you're doing photo shoots. I do photo shoot critiques where I critique people's photo shoot. And as
Mhm.
soon as I look at the picture, sometimes I was like, you didn't like that outfit, did you? They're like, no, how could you tell? I'm like, because I'm looking at your posing.
Right.
And then I look at your posing in this next outfit. You loved that one, didn't you? Oh, yeah, that's my favorite. I said, yeah, what does that tell you?
But a lot of it as well, Keone, I think, is having the balls to not care about others' opinion in really, there's a few people. In fact, in my office here, I've got a Jack Nicholson photograph,
Ah,
that
I love
the
him.
signed one of Jack, and it says, "I am who I am. Your approval isn't needed." And
I
I
love it.
actually bid on that in an auction,
Uh,
and I love that, and
that's
he walks the
lovely.
walk
That's
clearly.
a lovely idea. And it is correct, but I'm sorry, there's about 10% of people who need that opinion.
Right,
There are,
probably.
I'm sure you've had to do this just like with the well, I was talking about going fashion shoots. Sometimes I have to save people from themselves,
Oh my
which
God!
we
All the
do all the time, right? I'm like, yeah, the way you think you look in that outfit is not how you look.
Yeah,
It's very difficult to view ourselves the way we are viewed by others, and you've just got to, in general, this is sound advice: know what you're great at and trust yourself above all else in those things. Know what you're not great at. Find people who are great at that, and then listen to them
so true.
with those
So
things.
true. And it's so true about the acting world as well in the modeling world. Like Keone's a part of acting and modeling there. It's the same thing. You have to be honest about how people view you and see you and
Yeah.
what you really are, because a lot of times people are trying to sell something that they are not. So
And yet, and I want to, if this is the last thing I see on today's, this is what I want to say, because to all the people, and it's fine, it's fine to everybody on social media who in their basement with their opinion and typing it. It's
Aw.
fine, it's fine. You like, so if you're a Nino and Andrew fan, of course. Hey, it's like I'm a big soccer fan. You can see in the back my Newcastle United
yes,
stuff from when we went to the Cup final last. I get it. You're gonna have your favorites. So this is your time to shine. I got it. But let's go easy on the whole dethroning thing. Nothing's over. This was one competition by one mark, and I'm a huge fan of Winston Churchill and things which he's a very intelligent man. So I can end by quoting this, because I think it applies. Uh, Failure is not fatal. Success is not final. The ability to continue is what counts. And that's it. What else can you say?